Hi everybody, Sonia Rollins. I'm here for BACC Talk. Thank you for joining me. Today is a great day because we are joined by two people from the SBA, which, as we all know, is the Small Business Association. Gentlemen, if you'll introduce yourself for the viewing audience.
Thank you for the invitation,
Absolutely.
Sonia. Wendell Davis, I'm the Regional Administrator for the Small Business Administration.
Great.
So my responsibility is I'm responsible for all of New England. So like today I'm in Massachusetts. Actually, I will be in Maine today, and then tomorrow I'll be in New Hampshire. So got
you're
a busy
all
schedule.
over.
I'm
Right,
all over
exactly. And Bob.
Yes, hi Sonia. Great to be with you.
Great to have you.
So my name is Bob Nelson. I'm the District Director of the SBA for Massachusetts. So I'm responsible for the effective delivery of the SBA programs here in the Commonwealth.
That's great. Well, thank you both for joining me. I think there's so many great questions, and I guess some elements of unknown for the SBA for the general public, right? And for some businesses who don't know to take advantage of it. So I wonder if you can, and this is tough because how can anybody say in a nutshell what something of that magnitude does? But if you were to describe the SBA for people, what does it do?
Well, that's a great question. You're going to start at that 35,000 foot levels,
Right.
and then we'll drill down after that. There's a lot of different ways to answer that question. I think I'm going to try to attack it in a little bit different. It requires a little bit of context, but then I'll answer your question directly.
Please.
When you think about our country, when you think about the people in our country, we're all entrepreneurs at heart. When you think about all the different people in your family and your friends, we all have an idea or a product or a way that we can improve our product. And I really think it's embedded in our culture and our country. And Alexis de Tocqueville was a French historian who back in the early 1800s had this great little quote about the American dream. He talked about the American dream as being the charm of anticipated success. And while I love that quote, I think the real takeaway from that is that here you have a person from a different country back in the early 1800s, and he's looking into the United States from the outside, and he's saying, hey, that American dream thing, it's unique, it's different, it's something special.
Right.
So to answer your question, when I distill the role of the SBA really to its essence, I really think it is our job to get out there and meet as many people we can and just introduce them to this notion of the American dream. So the more people I can reach, and I thank you again for the invitation,
Absolutely.
The better it is. And so Bob, I know his office is out there doing those types of things. And how do we do that? We leverage not only great programming, but our incredible partners. Like, I'm going to throw a lot of acronyms at you. The SBDC, SCORE, our Women's Business Centers, WBC, and our BACC.
Right.
Really incredible stuff.
And it is, I love that you said that because the Chamber talks about this a lot, right? I mean, the Chamber of Commerce, in theory, is a collection of businesses who are doing something and they try to do that together. And when you join forces, you learn from each other and you do things with each other. And the small business is really a critical component of the Chamber. It's a critical component. I mean, Bob, do you find that it's a critical component in general, a small business to the Commonwealth?
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
when you look at Massachusetts, there's over 650,000 small businesses. 98% of the businesses in Massachusetts are small
Right.
by SBA size standard, and so virtually all of the businesses here in the Commonwealth are eligible to take advantage of the SBA programs.
Right.
And so we're talking about SBA loans, access to capital, the knowledge and skills, the technical assistance that's available. Government contracting assistance is another area that the SBA plays a huge role in, trying to make sure that small businesses have their fair share of contracts and what the government buys.
Right. And what constitutes a small business?
That's another
That's a
great
tricky
question,
one,
and
right?
Bob can probably help me out a little bit. But
Yeah.
the threshold that everybody talks about is 500 employees. But when you get into certain sectors of our economy, like manufacturing, which has been in the news for the last year, that's actually 1,500 employees or less. So it really touches upon almost all of the.
touches a lot, actually,
Yeah, it's
'cause
probably. Bob may have the statistics, but it's probably close to 90% of all businesses are small businesses
That's
in the
amazing.
United States.
It's
It really
amazing.
is.
And, so let's talk about some of the initiatives or some of the things that are going on with the SBA, either on a regional level or on a state level. Like, what are some of the initiatives that people are taking advantage of now versus in years past?
One, just quickly, and I'll let Bob add to it, but right now, and only because I'm heading up to Maine right after
Yes.
this, there is a rural initiative. So there is a focus to get to places that haven't been reached really before. So I'll be up in past Bangor, Millinocket, where there was a paper mill had closed. And
It's quite a town's name, by the
yeah,
way.
Millinocket, it's great. Huh?
Right.
And some folks there have gotten together,
Yeah.
and there's some synergy up there. So it really takes special people in a community to get together to overcome the closing of that paper mill. And now they're a couple of years removed, and now the SBA, we're going to head up there and let them know about all the resources that we have, and just really listen to them, and then describe to them all the things that we can offer and all the different
again, that
partners.
could be in conjunction with other offices or in conjunction with, helping them with loans and things like that.
Yeah, so a big part of the rural initiative is a collaboration with the USDA. So we're trying to break down some of those barriers with the other sister federal agencies.
Got it.
So we are collaborating with the USDA. In fact, the SBA, Linda McMahon is our boss, my boss,
Yes.
which she's a wonderful person to work for.
Right.
But she just signed a memorandum of understanding with the USDA. So both offices are going to be collaborating. They already collaborate already, but we're going to collaborate to a great extent. And,
Wonderful.
yeah, so we're looking forward to that.
Okay, and not on the rural side, but in something like, a city of Boston, or even just around some of the smaller towns. What are they doing there?
Well,
Or what are you
coupled
doing, I
with,
should
with
say?
the rural initiative
Yes.
is an initiative to try to help businesses that are located in hub zones. And hub zones are historically underutilized business zones, and all across the Commonwealth, you think of the gateway cities, there are hub zones.
Yes.
And so if we can help businesses that are located in those hub zones and their employees live in hub zones, it helps to build up communities. But as far as the SBA, the thing that I always like to talk about is our loan programs and
Yes.
access to capital. And we do an amazing job here in Massachusetts with helping small businesses to access that capital. Last year we helped about 2,700 small businesses to get $700 million in capital. That's just in Massachusetts.
Significant.
And
Right.
across the country we do about $30 billion in loans. And so the way it works with the SBA is if a business can qualify conventionally, that's the way that the loan can be done. But if the bank is uncomfortable doing the deal conventionally, they can turn to the SBA for our guarantee. We don't make loans directly. What we do is we provide a guarantee to help the bank get to the yes decision and to make that loan.
So to get to the guarantee part, so you do some background work, obviously, with some of the small businesses because they come to you first. Am I understanding that right, or did I do that backwards? Is it a joint application when people
We
are
do
talking?
we do some of it, but we also work
Yeah.
with our partners. That's where a lot of our partners come into play. So
Okay.
SBDC are small business development centers.
Yes.
So they're all throughout Massachusetts and the United States. And then SCORE is a number of retired executives
Yes.
that volunteer, and you're probably familiar with SCORE.
I am,
And
actually. They do a great job.
Truly remarkable. Here,
Unbelievable.
you could be linked up with a CEO of a major corporation helping you start your business. And then even as you get even more granular, the WBCs are our Women Business Center, and our VBOCs are our Veterans Business Outreach Centers. So
Right.
those are the folks that are on the ground, along with, Bob, do you have 14, I think 14 employees now in Boston,
Okay.
right?
So those organizations, are they under the SBA or are they in conjunction with the SBA? Do they work cooperative? Did I ask that question correctly? Do you know what I mean? Is it part of the SBA or is it?
We call them resource partners.
Okay.
So, the Small Business Development Center,
Yeah.
they're funded half by the SBA. A quarter of their funding comes from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Here in Massachusetts,
Yeah.
there are a couple different universities that play a critical role and provide that other quarter percent of their funding. UMass Amherst is the lead center, Salem State University, and Clark University.
Right.
SCORE, it's a volunteer organization.
It's
but,
unbelievable.
so it's national. An amazing network of mentors here in Massachusetts, and the women's centers. It's a nonprofit model.
Yeah.
They get some grant funding from the SBA, which helps them to meet their mission,
Yeah.
helping women entrepreneurs. But they do serve men also, and but collaboratively together, we do an amazing job. And each year we help about 30,000 small businesses with workshops and one-on-one business advisory.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And for people who don't know, SCORE is really a valuable resource. The Chamber of Commerce, if you go on the website, you'll find a link where you can get appointments scheduled with, a local SCORE chapter, I guess you call it, right? And you're right, CEOs, people who are giving of their time, who have a wonderful knowledge base and then can point them in the right direction, whether it's, through SBA or whatnot. At least they're giving them a first gut that I don't think they would get from anywhere else. It's really a valuable resource.
One great example too of that is that I had a gentleman down in Rhode Island who had a script and he wasn't sure what to do, and he went to his SCORE, the person in Rhode Island, and you know what? We don't have anybody in our office, but I think we have somebody out in California. And sure enough, They linked him up with somebody. Now they're going back and forth on how to develop a script. So it really runs the gamut. It is truly remarkable.
Remarkable and unique. I mean, I think people sometimes get nervous that they're going to go, but it's really such a great spot to sit, and there's a few people sitting around a table.
And one more great thing about it, it's a four-letter word, but they're free.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
these resources are free, so
Right.
to not avail yourself, you're really doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. All right, we are going to take a quick break. As everybody knows, the Chamber has a charitable foundation, and we have charitable partners that we are very proud of, one of which, of course, is UDT Steel Association. We'll be right back after a quick message from UDT.
My name is Don Tachi.
Okay.
I'm a former Navy SEAL and the current president of the New England chapter of the UDT SEAL Association. We're a nonprofit veterans service organization based out of Little Creek, Virginia. Our primary mission is to care for veterans of the Navy Special Warfare community and their families. Your generous donations enhance our objectives to seamlessly assimilate our veterans and their families from active duty to life after the military. We estimate 7,500 military and civilian individuals have benefited from the programs of the UDT SEAL Association. We thank you for your support and donations.
Okay, we're back. Thank you so much. And UDT, they do a great job for the veterans, and it is something that if you haven't looked into them, please do. We're proud at having them as part of our charitable partnership program. We are here with the SBA, and we were talking about all the different incentives and programs and the benefits, I guess I should say, for the Small Business Association. But let's bring it local for people. Bob, if we can bring it to a local story, you know, is there something that you're quite proud of now, or a story you can tell us about maybe a Burlington-based business?
Sure. So each year, SBA celebrates Small Business Week, and that's the first week of May. And, we have an awards event, and Victoria Bondock of Gemini Industries, she's from Burlington. She was our Small Business of the Year in 2017. So she has an amazing story. She started off at age 26 with her business, just $1,500, and now she has 12 locations across the U.S. and overseas, and she is doing amazing things to help our country. Her business helps prevent attacks on, on governments and private industry, and here locally and abroad. Just an amazing, dynamic small business person.
Unbelievable. And so how do you find that? So let's segue that into the next question, which is really, if the general public wanted to take advantage of the Small Business Association, whether that be, because they're thinking of an idea or they want to do something, what's their first touch? What do they do to get in touch with the SBA?
I'll talk about regionally and
Yes,
nationally. There's a
please.
website which
Okay.
was just revamped, so we have some new technology behind the website, so hopefully it's inviting. But that's sba.gov, so we encourage people to go to the website, but some people like doing that, but some people like going local and want to hear a voice. So Bob can probably give you some information on the local contact information too.
Okay.
Yeah, so the thing that I suggest is people visit the SBA's website. So it's sba.gov. If they want to get into the Massachusetts information, it's /MA on the back of gov. And they'll get a pop-up that will ask them if they want to sign up for email updates. Sign up for the email updates. It's the only way, the best way that you'll find out about all of the different workshops and events that are taking place across Massachusetts. And I can tell you that together with our partners, we do an amazing number of events to connect small businesses with resources, to train small businesses. That's the best way. But if they go onto our website, they'll find my staff listing, our phone numbers, emails. Call us. We want to be your small business resource here in Massachusetts. Absolutely.
That's fantastic. And when you say, so they sign up for updates, they can come see you personally, they can get information, whether that's regionally or, because is it specific, let's see if I can ask this question correctly, are the rules different if you're, for example, a New Hampshire-based small business versus a Massachusetts-based small business? Do they have to zone in, do they find more out once they get to the local Massachusetts office than at the,
We all
the aerial
work together,
shot? Right.
so if you reach out to somebody at the SBA office in Massachusetts,
point you in the right
they're going to
direction.
point you in the right direction.
Okay.
And you're really going to be amazed. And I encourage people to reach out to us because you're really going to be amazed with the resources. Everybody's so excited about. Bob runs one of the best offices in the country, so it's really a high-performing office in Massachusetts. And
Those are big words, Bob.
Yeah, those are big words. So you
Yeah,
got to live up to it.
absolutely.
Coming from my
But
boss.
they're impacting lots and lots of folks. So we really encourage you to reach out to us, and I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised.
That's fantastic because I think, and you know what else I think we don't realize? I can say I didn't realize that a small business can have 500 employees or something like that. I think people envision small businesses like only mom and pop shops, but it's mom and pop shops all the way to larger companies, correct?
Absolutely, manufacturing, digital companies. It's every company that you can think of. I came from the private sector, so I was appointed back in January. So I was in the private sector, and when I onboarded to the SBA, I was shocked at what the resources are out there. I thought the SBA was loans, loans, and loans. And while they are, and that's their bread and butter, there's just so much more. Bob had talked about the business, federal contracting. 23% of all federal contracts are set aside for small businesses.
Amazing.
I'm like, I got to look at the math on that. That was $106 billion set aside for small businesses last year.
Right.
So there's some really impactful, incredible programs that you can avail yourself of.
Right. I think you're right about that because I think that when you see the numbers, when you hear the numbers, it's actually almost overwhelming. But it's because there's so many small businesses, not just in the Commonwealth, but in the country.
And when you drill down, it's fun. Even like Middlesex County, $96 million in loans that the SBA participated in the last year alone.
Really?
And if you look at Burlington, I believe it was 5.4 million. I think there were 18 different companies just in Burlington just last year that we worked with, and that's just on the loan side.
Right.
So there's all these other different programs out there too.
So let me ask you a question. Here's one of my arms. I have them. Let me ask you a question, gentlemen. So I always want to know, is it reverse? Like you're doing a rural initiative right now for New England or for some of the states in New England. Are there ever moments where the SBA is looking at particular companies and saying, now or particular initiatives and realizing that's something we have to push more, or does it come from the reverse? Does that make sense? Am I asking the question correctly? Like, sometimes initiatives in economic development, for example, when we talk about economic development within the chamber or within Burlington, when we're talking about it on a town side, we're seeking out certain things because we know that area of Burlington's economy is dragging, for lack of a better term. Do you find that the SBA gets involved in that more, or is it more about helping those who are looking for particular things from you? Did that make sense?
Yeah, that's a great question. Sometimes
Yeah.
I think it comes to us. So
Yeah.
if there's a particular industry that's dragging, oftentimes it's hard to get funding for that industry. So
Yeah.
the banks will then say, hey, we're going to go to the SBA and get a guarantee because that, again, part of our goal is to get the lenders to lend a little bit more. Maybe they wouldn't have lent on a particular loan.
Right.
So we find sometimes those industries will come to us. But sometimes you look at the numbers, and I think, Bob, if you recall, like we were looking at the numbers from Massachusetts, and I think the number one loan category was construction. Which was
that was my next question,
which was
right,
really
so- yeah.
interesting, right?
Yeah.
So we didn't seek that out. It kind of sought us out.
So do you find that it's normally like, let's go to Massachusetts then, do you find that it's more construction type, like the build out of things, or is it more the operational side that people are seeking help with?
Yeah, so historically, SBA has helped food service businesses. Banks don't like to lend to restaurants and food services businesses unless there's an SBA guarantee. But that changed, within the last 3 years, and so construction has been the predominant industry that's benefiting from SBA loans in Massachusetts. And I actually looked, and SBA in Massachusetts did the most loans to the construction trades than any office in the entire country. There's just so much construction taking place in whether it's in Boston or in Springfield and Worcester and other markets. And, it's the full spectrum. It's anyone who's involved, whether it's general contracting or whether it's, electricians and plumbers or, anyone who's involved with the construction trades. It just falls into that NACE code, that industry classification code. That's how we track it.
It's pretty impressive when you think about it, because I don't.
It is, because 3 years ago, coming out of the economic crisis, banks did not want to lend to folks in construction. They were very nervous about that, and so that's the role that the SBA plays. When the bank is nervous about lending to a specific industry, the business might not have as much collateral as the bank would typically want conventionally. There's some risk that they're concerned about. They can turn to the SBA. We provide a guarantee. Our guarantee typically is 75 to 85% of the loan, and that reduces their risk. It helps the small business to get the money, and it's a win-win for everyone.
Right. So how long is the handhold, for lack of a better term? How long does a business who comes in and seeks help from the SBA, how long do they stay with you, or is it something that it's a partnership that you hope stays, for all the years they're in business, kind of thing, and they turn to you?
Yeah, I mean, some of the loans can go out to 25 years.
Yeah.
So the part, it's really the business. So if the business is successful, they're going to look to get a loan conventionally at some point.
Okay.
So we're here at really
As a
at
bridge?
any stage of the loan of a business, though. So even like a big part of the SBA's disaster relief. So when a tornado hits, the SBA, a lot of people don't realize it. We swoop in and we help out the communities
Oh, I didn't
and free up
realize
lending
that.
for that and
Yeah.
capital for that. But also, I just want to throw it out there because you were talking about different industries. Manufacturing is coming back right now. So the SBA actually has an export program, export loan program. They actually have export grants. They work with Commerce and some other folks at the federal. And so there's a grant program where we're helping companies do trade missions overseas to get their goods and their services and their products recognized in other countries. So there's so much out there, which is, coming to that private sector, it's like, wow, this is really cool stuff.
It's actually amazing. So just so I describe it right for everybody who's watching, because you're teaching me a lot today on this one too. So it's really about getting people started and getting that partnership done for them. Not started meaning their business started, but started in the right direction. If they're looking to move to the next level, get their funding, do something like that.
Yeah, it's all stages of growth. So
All
we
stages.
help pure startups, but we help established businesses with growth capital.
Yeah.
But in addition, you were talking about different industries. I
Yes.
do want to mention that there are certain socioeconomic groups that we also try to make sure that we're serving, and so veteran entrepreneurs, trying to
Yes.
help them to start businesses, to get access to capital. That's just one area, but other underserved communities are women entrepreneurs, are minority entrepreneurs. Those are areas that we work hard in to try to make sure that people know about our programs and services. That's one of the big challenges,
Right.
getting people to know about the resources that are available.
Okay.
And that is critical part of our mission. It truly is. So I know Bob's office works really hard at that and making sure that we're getting we have specific programs like our 8A program. Again, there's so much out there. So and that's an important part of it. And one of the great results is women really. I'm seeing, like, the other day I was at a debate academy, giving a speech at a debate academy, and I just randomly selected 5 different companies that I wanted to highlight. And it turns out 4 out of 5 are women, and that's really being impactful. We're seeing more and more CEOs from that area. But reaching out to the Hispanic community and the African American community is critical to our mission.
It's fantastic. It must be very gratifying. It must be really gratifying. Hard work, and then it's gratifying.
It really is. I've worked for the SBA for 20 years. I love working for the SBA. It's amazing. Driving around, you can recognize the names of businesses that got SBA assistance, and
Yes.
you get to hear their stories and to feel the impact
Well,
that
it's
you're
clear
making.
you love what you do if you've been working for them for 20 years. That's huge. We are going to take a break, gentlemen. Here's what I love: food, amongst
We're
other
listening.
things, right? I hope everybody knows who watches. The Taste of Burlington was on its 10th year last year. We are excited to announce the new date, which will be October 1st of 2018. The Burlington Marriott will again host it, and it will be October 1st. We're going to take a quick break, take a look at last year's taste, and I hope you'll all save the date. We'll be right back.
The biggest and tastiest event in Burlington came back for another year of food and fun. On Monday, September 11th, the Burlington Area Chamber of Commerce held their annual event, Taste of Burlington, at the Burlington Marriott. Host Maureen Spencer and Sarah Kelsey embarked on an ambitious and delicious journey through the Grand Ballroom. This year marks a special occasion for the Taste of Burlington, as it is celebrating its 10th anniversary.
Well, 10 years ago we had an idea that Burlington seemed to have a lot of great restaurants in it, and we wanted to showcase them. They're members of the chamber. We wanted to do a great showcase. That started at Burlington High, where we put out our own tables, and we actually almost had to beg some restaurants because it seemed silly to come into the high school and do it. It was such a great success that little did we know 10 years later it would be the event it is, it would get the kind of attention it does, and then we had great restaurants then, but we have even more now. So it's just such a showcase of the best of the best.
We're very excited about the 10th anniversary Taste of Burlington. I think you see the action and the atmosphere in the room. It's really represented what Burlington has become, a mecca of restaurants, high-tech industry, and it's really one of the pieces that keep all of the businesses coming here. So as you look around the room tonight, you see our partners with the restaurants. You see some of the businesses here being our sponsors, which we can't be thankful enough for. But also, it's the residential community that gets to enjoy the same things that the business environment has enjoyed. The restaurants, entertainment, and just about everything there is to offer.
When you come into Burlington and when you step in and see the restaurants here, you literally have the best in the industry, and the chefs are so proud to be able to present it to our members and to present it to the residents tonight. And we couldn't be more proud than to be able to show everybody, what Burlington has to offer.
If you look at where we started out to where we are today, we're much more in line with what's happening in Burlington. This is the buzz, this is where the businesses want to be, it's where the restaurants want to be, it's where the families want to be. So we've really got it all happening. We're proud to celebrate it with our 10th anniversary.
There were many sponsors that helped out put on this event, and one of the main sponsors of the evening was Herb Chambers of Burlington.
I think we think it's really important to be an active and engaged part of the community here. We have a big presence here in Burlington. We have 5 car dealerships here. We employ more than 200 people. It's a great event. We also think it's really important to be a great partner for the Chamber of Commerce, to do such a great job to make it easy for businesses to establish themselves and grow here in the city of Burlington. It's a great thing to do and a great part of the partnership to fulfill. For us, it's fun. I mean, we have some great restaurants in Burlington, and this is going to be a fabulous evening. So they're just a few of the great reasons we're here.
The general manager of the Burlington Marriott was very excited about the Burlington Area Chamber of Commerce celebrating their 10 years of delicious eats.
This is the 3rd year that we've hosted it. It's the 10th anniversary, and we have about 25 restaurants here, local restaurants, serving their cuisines. The managers are here. It's become an event where everybody kind of knows everybody in the industry anyway. So it's friends getting together and all having a good time tonight, and also showing their wares to everybody who comes here.
A large amount of restaurants participated in this year's Taste of Burlington, and our host had a chance to speak with them.
I'm here at Besito, where I'm promised that I'm going to feel like I'm in Mexico when we're dining there. Can you tell us a little bit more about your restaurant?
Well, we want every single person that comes in here to feel like they're on a resort. We want you to come in here as if you're sitting on a beach chair, sipping margaritas and enjoying our wonderful food. We make every single, from 6 o'clock in the morning, there's at least about 10 people in that kitchen making 24 different salsas every single day from scratch, with nothing but fresh, organic produce that we pride ourselves on, to make sure that every single thing tastes enough good so that when you come through those doors, you just forget about everything. Forget about work, forget about any schoolwork that you had to do. You just come in and enjoy, sip on one of our margaritas, and have a wonderful time, man.
All right, I'm here with the GM from the Capitol Grill in Burlington. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. So I understand we have Chef Tommy preparing something over here. Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, so we have our executive chef, Thomas Patrick. We have our sous chef, Oscar. And what they're doing tonight is we're cooking our mini filet mignon sandwiches that we do on our lunch menu or our menu at night. And then we're doing our famous lobster macaroni and cheese. So just an incredible menu that they're putting on tonight.
From the Burlington Marriott, I'm Robert Paris for B News Weekly.
By the time you leave the Taste, you feel like, it's supposed to be a tasting in theory, right? But you're stuffed. The food is just outstanding there. Hopefully you guys can join us. You'll have to book yourself into the Boston area when it comes to October.
Where do I sign up?
There you go. We will push you right to the Chamber's website. In any event, gentlemen, I thank you for being here with me. The SBA's website is?
www.sba.gov, put a /MA on the back of it, and to get into the Massachusetts page.
All right, there is so much to learn. I hope you take advantage of it. I think if anything else, we've learned that you can be a small business, a few people wanting to start up, or you could certainly be a company of 500, and there is something to gain from both the SBA and their partners.
Okay.
So thank you again for joining me. And
Thank you.
thanks everybody for watching. For Back Talk, I'm Sonia Rollins.